Hello again. This is the Dean and Jeff Show, the Stone Hired Advantage educational series of videos. We're going to talk today about aircraft hangars and the appropriate resin selection and some of the criteria that we need there. Maybe, Dean, you can talk about some of the things that we're going to talk about.
Absolutely. Thanks again. Welcome, Jeff, and welcome to myself. Yes, today we will be talking about the reasons for customizing your kind of coating or resin solution for your hanger. Just a couple of topics that we'll cover, something like reflection that you need when you are kind of doing the build or the maintenance on your aircraft. The second thing is staining with the kind of chemicals like the Skydroll and the de-icing products that we get in touch or that actually falls onto our floor. And the third thing is that kind of, once again, cleanability versus slip resistance.
Oh, yeah, and then aircraft hangars, it depends if it's a commercial one, a private one, a maintenance hangar, and or a passenger hangar. Each one of these requires a custom solution. And that's how we go to business. We like to talk about that. So the first one is light reflection. I mean, I've had people go, listen, I just want a mirror on the floor. They just want it to look like water, a reflection of water. And I try and explain, when you put that down, you better make sure your concrete's good because we're going to
Oh,
see
yes.
everything in that light. So that's a big thing. And I think what it is they're looking to be able, when the aircraft maintenance people and such, they want to be able to look up underneath the aircraft. They're working under the aircraft. So they want to have good reflections to see up in there. And certainly nobody wants anybody to put a plane together missing a couple of screws.
Oh,
So
oh.
we
No, 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 Jeff.
at least if we're gonna miss them, make sure you find them after, eh? Right?
Absolutely. I hope I'm not in that plane that kind of is missing two or three bolts and screws.
I,
A great point yet again, Jeff, is the light reflection is a very important aspect we see in a lot of these kind of projects. The benefit to what kind of Stoneheart delivers is that we actually test for our LRV or light reflection values on these kind of systems or resin or products that we kind of deliver. So we've got all that testing done. If our customer is in need of a specific rating or value, we actually have that information available that we can share to kind of accommodate or to match what they kind of need in, as you mentioned, commercial, passenger, if it's in the military, all those kind of things.
I think one of the big things that I've seen in the last couple of years, we generally had like to use epoxies where we could recoat again, but we certainly know that the urethanes have been excellent in terms of the ability to stop staining and provide a more higher level of light reflection. And some of our new breakthroughs of those recoatable urethane coatings that we have, I think, are just a game changer when it comes to the maintenance of these things. And that's one of the things that I talked a lot about with my customers. It's not about doing the floor now. It's what are you going to do in 5, 7 years when you want to touch this thing up and you go, I want to just dress it up. The boss is coming. He owns a $28 million jet. Can you just come in here and kind of give this a coat of paint? And that's, no understanding that is critical. And, that's why the epoxies are a little bit better. But as I said, our recoatable urethanes now, man, that's great. That's great technology.
Absolutely. It's in these kind of high-end facilities, people spending a lot of money on their floors as a customer, is that you need to kind of explain to them that we can offer the capital kind of installation. Then, as you mentioned, the maintenance is a very important aspect. Not only do they work with a lot of tools, maybe there's tools dropping. Yes, there's maybe staining that occur, and people don't want to see it and they want to overcoat it. Compatibility is one of the biggest things that we kind of looked at and that we've resolved. So great point, Jeff. And
I was wondering, like one of the things that I saw in a couple of hangars, this has come up, is when a lot of them, you'll see them specified with, maybe 3 coats of 2 to 4 mil coating systems. And we get in there and they bring the aircraft in hot and they park it. And the rubber on the wheel actually vulcanizes right to the floor. And then when they move it, they go, "Oh, your coating pulled up," and I'm going, "You just had a bond strength test of about 1,000 psi trying to pull that up." So we've been troweling those areas, or at least recommending that they have parking zones where we trowel the full 1/4 inch thick materials to get a better, resistance against that.
Yeah,
And
firmness.
that was an important factor. And trying to do a whole hangar like that, man, that can get quite expensive.
Absolutely. And once again, to our previous points in our previous discussions, is that we can actually alter and change and kind of adapt to what is needed. And based on the kind of 100-year experience that we've got, once again, is
Yeah.
that we can meet our customers' expectations exactly like you mentioned, Jeff.
So we can chase those, we can put that 1/4 inch and we can chase it around so that it doesn't look any different. Perhaps a different colored coating there so the pilots know to stop on those spots. All of those things can be customized. I know we were doing like Sikorsky helicopters in Halifax, the big CFB Shearwater is a 400,000 foot job. We did all the parking markings as well. And those things coming in with the sky draw all over them and de-icing fluid, so the urethanes were also able to stop the staining. But you were talking earlier about the requirement now for super flat floors. This is something new for me. We haven't seen this here in Atlantic Canada. Perhaps you could take us on that.
Absolutely, Jeff. Great comment. So what happens is now with all these cargo facilities um, actually moving towards more automotive systems. So they don't have all these people picking and moving these cargoes around. Now they're actually putting all these robotic storage areas in that they now actually require ESD systems. And not only ESD systems, they need the super flat because there's kind of a robot running on the same path day in, day out, day in and day out. So that's exactly back to your point. Your previous point is that we're actually upgrading that to a clad system, trial the 1/4 inch, and putting an ESD system over the top to meet all the customer requirements now moving towards this more automated systems.
Is that the same super flat spec that we use in TV studios where they take a camera and they put the laser on a wall and we move the laser around the whole building, and if it comes off that spot, we have to replace the floor. It's not super flat.
Jeff, almost similar to that. It all depends on the kind of height of the racking that they're installing, but you won't believe how detailed these flat floors need to be. And yes, due to the experience that we've done all these studio facilities. We
Yeah.
kind of know where we kind of sit down with our customer and our engineering kind of with their engineers, with our department as the engineers on our side, and we kind of meet and discuss and finalize those details depending on the racking they're using.
We did a custom job at CFB Bagotville where they had the CF-18 storage and actually an ammunition storage as well in Halifax. And they wanted an ESD floor, but they needed it to be slip resistant as well. And so you couldn't add aluminum oxide or any kind of silica to the surface of the floor in order to make it slip resistant, because it would create spark, both static spark and a mechanical spark. And they needed a mechanical spark protection because the fluids were explosive. So the test was a mini grinder 5 seconds in the dark. And our competitor, I think, wanted to use walnut shells, but it was using so much solvent was falling on the floor. Some of the fluids, the kerosene from the actual fuel cells of the jet fighters, and so we came up with a plastic aggregate that we were able to broadcast into the floor and meet that criteria. And that was a big breakthrough for us. It took a long time for us to figure that out. And I remember troweling the floor, and the whole floor would want to move because it was one big piece until it cured. Extremely difficult installation, but it was again a prime example of customizing the solution to the customer's needs in that given hangar, the issues that they had. And one thing I do is I'm not getting on one of those CF-18s. You got to be some sky pilot for that. I'm telling you, it's just a big motor with a bunch of guns, and they strap a seat on it. It's not fancy.
No, Jeff, and yeah, great comment once again is that, as you mentioned, is that we can adapt to what our customer needs.
Yeah.
And that is a very, very important point for our customers to understand, is that we're here to support them in whatever they need.
you know, again, it comes back to dealing with the manufacturer. Stonehard's been at this 100 years. We figured out a lot of things. We're learning new things, but the ability for us to reach out and around the world into 52 countries and figure out from over, it's an incredible amount of people that we can ask and a lot of experience. And that's why we're trying to do these videos, so we get out. So another Stonehard Advantage video complete. Dean, thank you so much again for your time. Aircraft hangars, let's get out there. Maybe we could fix the problems at Pearson. What?
Definitely.
We're not doing luggage areas.
We actually do.
Yeah, we would. Yeah, thanks, Dean.
Thanks, Jeff. See you soon.